do to wait for Twitch to show up on my side. And there we are. All right. Welcome, everybody, to Cloud Native Wednesdays. That is the name now. Is that the name now, Jennifer?
I don't know.
I think we have
I
to
feel
figure out.
like uh I feel like it needs a cool title.
Yeah. All right. Well, we don't
C
have
and W.
CNW. I like it.
I see. Seeing you Wednesdays. We
Okay, we're
need
gonna
you.
we're gonna take we're gonna create an issue right now.
Uh, oh yeah, you're
Yeah.
using issues. Check out our cool repository where you can see what we're thinking about for future episodes of the Cloud Native stream. And you can suggest your own topics of things you want to share with us that you think might be fun for us to talk about, especially if you can't make it to the live stream chat.
All right. So
Oh, I
look
think
in
that.
issue number 7. I'll start. I'm not gonna put lame in there.
Oh,
All right. So there's the first one. If anyone has other ideas, if you are on Twitch right now, Jennifer, do you mind? I can't pull up Twitch right now. Do you mind throwing the repo link into Twitch chat?
I will totally do that.
Cool, cool. Just before the
Awesome.
stream, me and Jennifer were joking about cool, cool, how we both say it. We can't stop saying cool, cool when we're happy about something. So there you have it. Cool, cool. So yeah, go to issue number 7. If you, yeah, there it is. Yeah, in the chat, Jennifer posted issue number 7. If you've got ideas for the name, put them in there. And if you see one in there, put a thumbs up emoji. If you don't know how to do that, you go to the little face on the upper right side of the comment, and right there, boom, thumbs up. So otherwise, we're going to be stuck with CNW or Cloud Native Wednesdays. So if you're okay with that, that's cool too.
Okay, there we
So
go. Seeing you Wednesdays, which is like seeing and Cloud Native.
I'll put it in
If you
here.
reload, you can see it. No,
Oh
if you
yeah, you got
reload,
it. Okay.
yeah.
CNU Wednesdays. Yes. CU Wednesdays. Okay. That gets one of these. There we go. All right. Yeah. So Jennifer, what are we like? What's up? You created this repo. So what's up? What are we going to use it for? I know you mentioned this a little, but
Yeah,
ex-
so this
okay.
is, we are part of the open source team. We want to just be really open about what our process is, what we're doing with the stream. In the issues, you can see our different ideas for things that we want to talk about, maybe on future episodes to share with you, as well as we have agenda. So today, if you look at July 1st, that is what we're going to talk about today. You want to
Yeah.
start us off?
Yeah. So I'm actually gonna, before we even get to like where we left off, I think this is really cool. Jennifer, I bet you do too. Me and Jennifer set up VS Live Share, Visual Studio Live Share. So you have to take our word for it. She can see what you are seeing on the stream right now. And then like as I change files, like go into the make file, she can like now she can see this. Um,
Yeah, and I get my preferences, which was hilarious because you were like, "Oh, it's the blue bar," and I was all, "No, it's a purple bar," because my theme was how I like to see things, and of course, I get to see everything you're looking at with my theme applied.
Ooh, yeah.
Very sweet.
Yes. So this works for pretty much anybody. You don't have to get any special thing or pay for this or anything like that. I think you can just do Visual Studio Live Share, and yeah, it's right there. Goes in here. It'll tell you um, how to get started. So if you already have Visual Studio, it's basically just an extension, and then you're good to go. Um,
VS Code or Visual Studio, right? Because like those are two
yes.
different things. Yeah.
Yeah. So for Visual Studio, you have to get the extension. I'm not 100% sure about, I'm sorry, for VS Code, you have to get the extension. Not really exactly sure about Visual Studio. I
It
think it
says it's
might.
included in that documentation up at the top. So maybe
Oh,
it's
nice.
just included in there.
Oh, yeah, nice. So yeah, you and then you can share. Like you can share your code. You can share your terminal. You can let people edit your code or put stuff into your terminal. So beware of that. But it defaults to read only. And one of the really cool things that I've used a few times, and I always try to get an excuse to use it again, is you can forward ports. So if I run like my dev server, Jennifer can access my dev server from her Visual Studio Code terminal. So like,
Really?
yeah. So we're gonna mess with that. I don't know about today if we're gonna mess with that, but like that just blows my mind. Like it goes through the interwebs, through the cloud, and then shows up as a port on your machine. It's just like whoa, super cool. So yeah. Anyway, hey ASW 101 and hey AXCDNT. Thank you both for
That
coming.
sounds like accident.
Oh, I seriously I didn't get that.
It's great. I don't know. Maybe not. I always love these like word puns.
Yeah. So AXC is does your yes, it does.
Woohoo!
Accident. Is that
That's
okay if we
awesome.
call you accident? I'll just assume it's a yes. Tell me if you don't want us to call you accident. But for now, accident it is. So, anyways, yeah, Visual Studio Live Share works with VS Code and VS, just Visual Studio, and I believe it works across the two as well. So, yeah. Anyways, that covers this point. First point, it is. Um, so yeah, just recap of last week if you didn't make it. We explored the Dapper project. So that's at dapperdapr.io. And like we broke it down. Didn't we break it down like sentence by sentence, Jennifer?
Yeah, the core like one-liner definition. And it left, I think I was left with some more questions, but you felt a little solid, or you felt solid. That's where I think we left off. And then I was like, let's look at some code next time.
That's
And
right.
so
Yeah. All right. So let's go into GitHub. Where is their link to GitHub? Is it this? Yeah. Okay. So we went into this. And I think eventually, what? We got to this. This was like our entry to the rabbit hole that eventually got us into code, right? Or am I?
we kind of we bounced around quite a bit. I believe what happened was we started looking at the building blocks at the end, towards the end, and we were starting to like look at specific building blocks, and then
Oh,
we.
okay.
I think we barely scratched the surface of looking at Hello World. I think I distracted us with observability.
Okay.
And then it was too complex. So we're like, oh,
Let's go
retreat,
back.
retreat.
Yeah. All right. So we probably clicked here on concepts and then,
Yes.
yeah, and then here. Okay. Building block is an API that can be called from code. That's right. So yeah, we had a building block, and those are the APIs, and then the components are like the functionality that is behind those APIs. Does that sound right? I feel like that's what we discovered.
I agree. And then we went into like what's the difference between pub and sub and
Yeah.
bindings and all this good
Mhm.
stuff. And then yeah, we're not gonna go down the observability rabbit hole
Okay.
today.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. Okay, so we know what the terminology is. Service invocation, state management, so like key value stuff, pub sub through pub sub systems, bindings. I think we're gonna have to get into bindings and actors and observability later on, maybe in the next few streams, and then secrets, which I think is an awesome topic too.
Yeah, that's a huge one, and I feel like observability and secrets are like super important, especially to the DevOps
Mm-hmm.
side of things.
Yeah, it like keeps us from pulling out more of our hair. The developers will inevitably check secrets in um, to their GitHub repos, and we inevitably will not be able to tell what their code is doing in production. So yeah, those are nice to have. Or if you're my case, there's no more hair to pull out, so you'll be going for the beard probably. So okay, we got concepts. I would say we're decent on how these things work. What do you think?
I really want to see it in action because I think we were looking at like on the front page of Dapper.io and we were watching like things happen and it was really fast. Like I felt like we you kept clicking and pausing and rewinding. I
I
was just
know.
like, can we just look at the code?
Yeah.
Like let's see it running on your system because that will tell me like
Yeah.
okay, like I kind of feel like I got it, but like I still feel a little bit like is this specific to one thing? Like, I
Yeah.
just want to see it.
Okay. All right. So I know that they have a Hello World, and I think you can get to it by yeah. So the site has that link to get started. That goes to GitHub, and then down here, you click on Hello World sample at the next steps. Like next step number one is Hello World sample. So when I got to this before, I just assumed like, okay, this is where you get started. I got to it through this flow from the website, and that button on the website said getting started. So I figure, let's do this. Is that cool? What do you think?
I think this is cool. So the first thing I want to understand is like we talked about components and these building blocks. So like what components is this actually leveraging?
Good question. Okay, so we've got a node app talking to the runtime, so that's a building block of some kind using this API, and then state management over here. So I guess that means we're using the state management component, right?
Yeah. I think
Okay.
there so that means there's a state management component. And there's got to be something else. So, like, there's two.
Yeah. Oh, and then check this out. Okay. Python code talking to the API. And then we've got this arrow going over to the node business. So probably service to service invocation by assumption. Doesn't really
Yeah,
say, but probably.
that sounds about right.
Okay. All right. So on to prerequisites then. We have we need Docker, Node version 8, and Python 3, and maybe Postman. So let's see what I've got already installed in ye old WSL2. Uh, Docker version. Okay, we've got version 19. I'm assuming that's fine. They don't really say a version. So then we need Node version 8. Okay, we're good there. Python version. Ooh, Python 2.
What did
So,
you do? Python 3.
okay. So everything in these commands, I probably need to go Python 3 space whatever rather than Python space whatever. That's good to know. Is that, I should do that, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Or let's see what they're actually telling you to do.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to fast forward real quick to see what the Python business is. Python Incorporated, the Python business. All right, blah, blah, blah.
They
Python
do a
app.
BIP3, so it is,
Well, oh, yeah, pip 3. Okay. Oh, yeah, they do Python 3 here.
yeah.
It's
So,
like they know me. All right, I'm going to go back up to the top. And okay, we passed this. So, okay, I think we're good here. I don't have Postman. Um,
oh wow, you totally need Postman.
okay, let's get Postman.
It's
Download.
so nice for exploring APIs. Like
Cool,
it's
cool.
so nice.
It's nice enough to get a series fee funding. So, okay. Not A, not B, but C. They've already made it 3 serieses.
I don't know everything they do, but I definitely use it for exploring what APIs do. Like, uh, it's kind of a yeah, does the documentation match?
Yeah, good question. So, Accident says, let's curl this. So, I love curl. I think we're going to be doing some curl also. Where I saw a curl command down here somewhere. Did I miss it? Yeah, there we go. So, oh,
Oh,
and
we
they
can just
have,
yeah. They've got everything. It's
yeah.
all good.
Oh man, there's a
Huh.
VS Code REST client too. Wow. 3 ways to
That
do
is
stuff.
interesting. Last but not least, we can use the Postman GUI.
Oh, do I even? Oh,
Wait,
skip.
what?
Can I can probably do this. I don't want to
Yeah,
sign
yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Cool. Okay. So I'm going to leave this open and let's get started all the way. Okay. I have this scrolling mouse that has like the clicks. I don't know if you can hear it like that.
Mm,
Can anybody, can you hear that, Jennifer?
I can hear it.
Okay. But if you scroll really fast, the clicks turn off and it just scrolls all the way to the bottom. It's really weird.
Huh.
Okay, so we're here. I gotta download the code. So I made a folder for all my Dapper things. I think I might have downloaded the code already. Yes. So samples. CD samples, and then did I already open samples? Yeah. Okay, I already opened samples in VS Code. So now what are they telling me to do? CD samples and then one.hello world. Okay. CD samples one.hello world. Coolio. So now in app.js, you will find a simple express app. All right, let me open that. Hello world app.js. Okay. So now let's take a look at the top. We've got a port, a state store name, and a state URL. Okay, let me try to see. So I guess they're talking about this, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so environment variable here, or 3500. We've got, I guess this is just a hard-coded thingy called state store.
So we're giving it we're giving the state store name. Wait, we're giving the state store the name state store.
Yeah. You know what? I wonder if it means that you can have like sort of like multi-tenancy. You can have like state store A and state store B maybe, and they'll be separated out. Just a wild
I
guess.
think so because like if I look at the URL, which I think is the key thing is like it's a state and then like state store name. So since it's a variable, I'm assuming like the fact that they're saying it's a variable instead of just having it like the API is this particular thing. So you
Yeah.
could change the state store name.
Yeah. Should we go and look at the REST API for state stores?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's do it. I'm going to open up a new tab, and I wonder where that is. Docs. Is it under docs? All right, reference. This is looking better.
An
API.
API. Woo.
This is looking promising. State API. Sweet. Okay. Component file. We haven't touched YAML yet, so I'm gonna bypass.
Scroll fast.
Yeah. Oh, here. Store
Okay.
name. Please refer to the Dapper State Store configuration structure mentioned above. Okay, Dapper State Store configuration structure. Where, oh, this is, here it is. The Dapper component file. I guess that's what this means.
Okay. So the metadata.name is the name of the state store. So there it's saying there's a type for the state,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's a name. Okay, this is a little bit confusing to me because it's saying the metadata.name is the name of the state store. Well, okay, so there's multiple names, so that means you
Yeah.
could have multiple state stores, right?
Yeah, I
If
think so.
this, or wait, I'm looking at metadata under spec. No, so there's only one?
We have, okay, so they're saying metadata.name, so that would be this, and
Yeah.
that's the name. I guess you can namespace them also. And then where, they don't really say. I bet this is saying you can choose a specific implementation for the state store. That's
Oh, but look at the third paragraph there.
support for multiple state stores. Oh. 0.4 has a breaking change because now you can support multiple state stores. So maybe you can have, yeah, like you said, different state stores that have different backings, like a Redis one and a Cosmos DB or something along those lines.
What is underneath the what is underneath the like please refer, can we look at that
Oh, the
that
link?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to open it in a new tab. Multi state store API. The state API allows the app to target specific state stores by store name. Okay.
That's what we were wondering. There you go,
Yeah.
A and B. That it's even using your A and B. They totally know you.
They know me. Okay, so this is getting into it. Yeah, there it is. Redis. Okay. Oh, actors. There it is. Actors keeps popping up. Something about actors. Cool. Okay.
Oh, this is actually really helpful. This I'm glad we clicked on this because this does show this like different Redis versus MongoDB. And if we look at like in this specifically, the name that helps me understand what this bottom area is for. Like this is MongoDB and this is Redis, and then the store name in the metadata.
Yeah.
Because
And
we don't actually define that in that little snippet.
yeah, we just I don't know what this maybe it'll say in the getting started or the hello world doc, but I wonder if this just does a default. Like let's I don't know if it defaults to Redis or something, but I wonder if it's just like if you don't say what it is, then it's going to just use whatever implementation it feels like. Maybe.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Which tab were we on? We're like 4 levels deep on tabs now. We need some AI to tell us what tabs to go back to. This one, I think.
Popping off the stack.
Yeah. All right. When we use the Dapper CLI, it creates an environment variable for the port. The default is 3500. We're using it in step 3 when we post messages to the system. Here it is. The state store name is the name given to the state store. We'll come back to it later to see how the name is configured. So configured, maybe that means what backend it's using or something like that. Cool. Okay. So now we've got a new order handler. That's a lot. Slash new order. It's getting some data out of the request, and then it's
Can we
getting...
go ahead and look back at the file itself?
Oh yeah, for
Because
sure.
it kind of like skips over a little bit. So I'm kind of curious here. So we're saying this port equals 3000. That's separate port. It's kind of weird the
Oh,
spacing. Like it's all well, I guess it makes sense. Like the first three are configurations for Dapper. The fourth one is a configuration for our application. That's the applications port, the
oh.
3000.
Let's see where that's used. Go to references. Yeah, app.listen.port. Not dot port. App.listen and passes in the port. Yeah. So it seems like, I don't know if this is right, but it seems like Dapper is serving on its port and then it's forwarding in to my, this Express app's port. Maybe? Let's keep going and let's see how that ends up working.
And then if we look at the code more, so like that first block of code, that's implementing because I haven't done any Express.
Hmm.
Like I don't know if Express is a language that you know, but like so the first sort of thing is we're defining a are we defining an order API?
Yeah.
Okay.
An order API, and that's forwarding on. This fetch is making an HTTP request to our state store for the order key.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Then we've
And
got
is
this
that
prompt.
app.get, is that saying like this is a get?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's and if you if you want it to be more complicated, you can hover over get and see the TypeScript the TypeScript types for this, which is completely not helpful at all at all. But yeah, this is saying I want my server to have a slash order that responds to HTTP GET requests. Okay, so
Okay.
so then when that comes in, we do an HTTP request of our own to get the order key out, and then we start doing the stop popping stuff up. And then we start doing a promise chain. So we're saying if we couldn't get it back from the state store, blow it up. We're done. If we could, then change the response into plain text. So whatever we got out of the state store, just make it into a blob of text. Otherwise, not otherwise. After we change it into text, send that text back to the client. And otherwise, if we blew up, then just log out the error and then return a 500 internal server error back to the client. Oh, and it looks like we're sending JSON too, which is cool.
Very cool. Okay. And so now this next part, that's where in the guide, that's where they're talking about next. Like
Yeah.
this is the new order one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me go to the chat real quick. Accident says, is the state store the equivalent of a service name? As far as I know we'll get to this in a second. As far as I know, it's not. Because the state store is like a Dapper internal thing, but the service name is our Python app and our JavaScript app each get their own service excuse me, each get their own service name, and then they can talk to each other using those service names that we assign to them. So I hope that makes sense, Accident. Throw a message in the chat if it doesn't. Okay. So, where were we? My bad. I totally forgot.
I I think we were gonna look back at the help,
Yes.
like the walkthrough, because we are because like I like to understand things, and when it jumps around, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
what are all the things we're skipping? Okay, so now we're back to this guide that matches the code.
Yeah. Okay, so they put this code and it's the yeah, I see what you're saying. So it's this code. They jumped ahead. I gotcha. So in here then blah blah blah. Let's look at this code in a second in more detail. I want to
Hmm.
see what they write down here. We're exposing an endpoint that will receive and handle new order messages. We first log the incoming message and then persist the order ID to our Redis store. The
Ooh,
plot thickens. So a Redis store.
yeah.
Okay. We're going to post the state array to the /state/state store name endpoint. Alternatively, this is cool. Alternatively, we could have persisted our state by simply returning it with our response object. So, does have you wrapped your head around that?
Not yet.
Okay. Like, so I'm actually going to put it to do in that endpoint. I don't need an HTTP file extension at the moment. And I'm going to put it to do right here. Whoops, right here. I'll comment this out and say, to do, can we persist state this way? OMG, am I right? So maybe we can come back to that and just see, like, can we do this and then also just get rid of the entire fetch? Because that would be pretty cool.
But okay, is that? Uh,
Right? Right?
I don't know. Like, is that? Yeah. Let's keep going.
Okay, yeah.
My brain is see. This is why we have to look at the code.
I know,
You
right?
gotta see it working.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to skip over that. We choose to avoid this approach. It doesn't allow us to verify if our message successfully persisted. Okay. So it looks like they're moving on to the next one. Before they do
Okay.
that, let's go and look at the code they just showed. Cool with you?
So yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Can we talk about this a little bit? What they mean here? So they're saying they're exposing an endpoint that receives and handles new order messages. Okay, like I get that. So logging the incoming message. So we're doing a new order. So somebody's going to send in a message and it's going to contain some kind of new order content. So
Mm-hmm.
got that.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. You log it. Then you persist the order ID to our Redis store. Yeah, you want to save the order ID.
Mm-hmm.
Alternatively, we could have persisted our state by simply returning it with our response object. So our response, this is so okay. So instead of posting to the state array, if we respond with the state object inside of the response, we're saying that that is actually going to leverage the Dapper API and store it.
I mean,
So that instead of two steps, we're doing it in one step. Is that what that's saying?
I think so. I mean, that sounds awesome. So, but I'm always
That sounds
skeptical.
terrible in a way.
Yeah,
Because,
it
like, if
does.
it fails, is then it failing? I think that's what it says. Because then it says it doesn't allow us to verify if our message successfully persisted
Yeah.
because I think I think I understand it now. Let's look at the code, but I think what we're saying is like you need a little bit of extra logic
Yes.
to process did you save it? That's like a normal database operation. Did I save this information or not? If I
Yeah.
didn't save it, I don't want to return something back to my customer saying
Yeah, you're
I've
good.
processed your new order.
Yeah. I probably would only ever use this for a cache. And then like even then, this is I think this is awesome cuz it's magic, but on the other hand, like what if you want to return a state in the JSON to your user? Like what do you do then?
Hmm.
That was hypothetical. I have like yeah. I have no words. Anyway, you're right. Yeah, let's go up and look at the app.post. Oh, there's something in chat um, about this. ASW 101 says it looks like Dapper hits your slash new order endpoint and it sees if a state endpoint returned in JSON format, does it persist it? It does take a moment for me to wrap my head around it too. Okay, so we're not the only ones. That's good to know. It's good to have company, right? Okay. All right, cool. So we've got our app.post. Do you want to look at this in VS Code or here? Does it matter?
I would like to look at it in VS Code. Yeah.
Okay,
I like the highlighting. It's so much easier to read.
cool. Okay. So we've got our slash new order. Looks like we're taking data out of the request body. And then I guess magically the request body is some kind of JSON dictionary. So because now we can just do dot order ID and now we have the order ID. So that's cool. It's handy. And now we have our, this looks like it's what's going to go into the database. So we've got our key value pair, order is the key, and then whatever data the client sent up, that's going to go, oh yeah, here we go. The next thing is they're doing a post request to the state store and they're passing JSON up for the state. So it looks like you pass a list of dictionaries with key value pairs in each dictionary. And that's what the state store wants to in order for it to persist stuff.
Say that in different words.
Okay. So if you want this, yeah, those words were awful, huh? Okay, here we
I
go.
was like, okay,
Round two.
hello, computer, please speak human.
Please speak. Okay, so round two. If you want to save something to the state store, you have to create a list of dictionaries. Each dictionary has to have a key and a value. And then you have to do a post request to that URL, the state store URL. And
Okay,
then,
don't say list. We got to pause.
okay,
List of dictionaries, like.
yeah. So let me, okay, so we've got list.
Let's talk about English. English.
Okay. So is key value pairs
Key value pair.
fair?
That's cool.
Okay. So we have to create a list of key value pairs. So we've got list with the square brackets, key value pairs with the squigglies. So this represents one key value pair that I'm highlighting. So
Right.
we're getting ready to save one key value pair to the state store.
Okay, so the state store, going back to where we are at, I need pictures. The state store name is state store. This needs a whole different name. We're gonna, we're gonna send a pull
Yeah,
request.
right.
Like, okay, so there's a state store called state store. This
Yeah.
state is constant. Is this like it's not a constant, or is it that like once I create this, I can't modify it, or does that not what that means?
So this is that's Okay, so ignore constant because it's not a constant.
Got it.
So you cannot do this, but you can do this. So that's weird because you can't reassign the state constant to something new, but you can dive into the actual data inside of the constant and change that.
Okay. So then we're talking the brackets is the list,
Yes.
and then in it's a list of key value pairs.
Yeah.
So in state store, there's going to be multiple keys,
Right.
and this key is order. So the thing that's like where does the order ID come in? Would it be like order ID? Like is that
Oh, that's a good question. So so we know inside of the data that there is an order ID because that's right here. So, but we're just making a key called order. So if there was already a key in the state store, we're just going to blow it away and overwrite it.
is it overwritten or is it more
Oh, okay.
or like
That's a good question.
so that's like what's bugging me, right? Like is
Yeah.
there can you have multiple keys called order and then I don't know, like
I bet we're going to find out in when we actually get the code running. I
okay.
bet.
Let's keep going through this code.
Okay.
It'll make sense. Maybe we should check to see if anybody has commented in chat
Yeah.
to tell us this.
All right. So let's go into this. Um, let's go up here. ASW 101 says object, not endpoint. Oh, that's talking about the new order object. Okay. KSI Vamuthu. I hope I pronounced that right. Thank you so much for coming. Hello to you too. KSI Vamuthu. C# term in the JS world. I think maybe you're talking about when I said dictionary.
Yeah.
So Accident says, how would Dapper Stores handle a relational database scenario? So from my recollection, not running code against Dapper, but just reading about it, Dapper provides a key value store only. So it doesn't provide any abstraction for like joins or sorts or anything along those lines. But behind the scenes, you could implement that abstraction with MySQL or Postgres or whatever you wanted to use. I don't remember off the top of my head if someone did that, but you certainly could do it as long as you can implement that API that Dapper requires. ASW 101 responded and answered my question 1,000 times better than I could. There's some more discussion. ASW 101, you are doing our jobs better than, at least my job, answering questions better than I could, so thank you. And
Oh, cool. And URLs that are super helpful.
yes, supported
Reddit,
state store.
Zookeeper, Azure Cosmos DB, Google Cloud Firestore, and there's like CRUD versus transactional,
Let's go into that.
Hazelcast.
Hazelcast. I haven't heard about Hazelcast in forever.
And thank you. Is it Siva? Just making sure I'm pronouncing that correct.
Oh, Siva. Oh, I just saw that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So Siva says the last object wins when you have the same keys. Okay.
So why would we use the same key for order? That feels
Excellent question. So
okay.
actually,
I'm sure we as we go through, it will make sense. It
Okay,
will
should
make
we, are we
sense.
gonna go on faith?
Well, we want it to run, right?
Yes. Okay, you're right. You're right. I have to get over it in my head. Like, I can't.
Remember we were talking earlier in the week, and we are talking about just accept it. Like I'm
Yes,
having that moment. Just accept it.
you're
It's
right. You're
okay.
right. Okay. All right. So we do our fetch. We get a response back. Blow up if we didn't get a okay response. Send a 200 okay back to the client. Otherwise, handle the part where we might have blown up by returning a 500 internal server error back to the client. So this is saving a new order. And we don't know, potentially overwriting a new order, or I don't know. We'll see. Cool. So back to the README, or should we go over the rest of the code in here? What do you think?
Um, I think we can go back to the README. I feel pretty confident about the rest of the code. It's just implementing a delete.
Uh huh.
I think the order of the README is just going to tell us about the order
Yeah.
one
Okay.
next. So I think we're good.
Okay. So we've got that about the oh, this was new order. Then they go back and they do the get order. We already looked at that. This calls out to our Redis cache to grab the latest value of the order key. So latest is telling me that we are gonna blow away the old ones and overwrite with the new ones. And then we're saying it effectively allows our Node.js app to be stateless. I love that word, stateless.
I don't understand why it's saying stateless when it's a state.
I think what it's saying is the Node.js app doesn't have to save anything in memory for the next, like in order to read it back on the next request.
Got it.
I think. And that's, I say I love that pattern because keeping state in the program's memory, like when you're in a distributed environment, is like, I personally think it's terrible. It's like a very difficult thing to do when you have to take into account things might crash or you have to have more than one of them running.
Yeah, or the
Um,
route of like how like the route of the next request coming in, and
yeah.
if it's yeah.
Yes. You. That's like, yeah. That one is like the toughest one, I think. So, oh, and then they're about to say something about this. If we only expected to have a single instance of the Node.js app and didn't expect anything else to update order, the order key, we instead could have kept a local version of our order state and returned that. That would have reduced the call to our Redis store. We would then create a slash state post endpoint, which would allow Dapper to initialize our app's state when it starts up. And then in that case, our Node.js app would be stateful.
So I want to go to the chat because Aaron or no, not Aaron. Accident says stateless in terms of passing data to an external store. That's like a good way to think about it. To say uh, the app is stateless, but our service has state, right? And
Hmm.
Dapper's handling the state,
Yes,
right? Am I thinking of this correctly?
I think you are.
Okay, cool.
Like we don't deal with long-term storing state in variables.
Hmm.
We just go back and forth to the other thing that deals with state for us.
Which is awesome.
Yes, I love that. And if I
Okay.
remember the state, that document that you put into chat, or that ASW 101 put into chat, right here, somewhere near this document, there's a whole thing about how exactly these things store the state behind the scenes. So, like, I remember looking at one for Cosmos DB, and it's like we store it in this structure and it has like this kind of concurrency control and blah blah blah. And like when I read that, the first thing I thought of is like, great, I don't have to deal with any of that in my app. I can be stateless. The Dapper implementation did all the hard work for me. And then I was like, yay, I can move on and do my other stuff, my other stuff. Okay. Run the Node.js app with Dapper. All right, so I think we're about to actually see something running. npm install. Cool, cool. Now we've got this big old thing.
Okay, can you not put at port 3000 and dash dash port 3500?
For sure.
I just want to see. I
I'm
just
gonna.
want to see.
So no port and no app port. Oh yes. Okay, let's go to the top of these logs. Starting Dapper with node ID or with ID node app, HTTP port 44511, and then they put a gRPC port in there. Starting runtime, they've got a bunch of logs, metric server configuration, standalone mode, MTLS disabled. They have a state store for Redis. They're setting up pub sub, service discovery. Wow. Metrics, that probably goes towards observability. Quite a bit of stuff going on. Node app listening on port 3000. Okay.
Okay, cool. So it totally, the defaults do work.
Yeah.
Yay.
So, but should output text that looks like that. But
Why didn't it start on 3500?
I bet it's because we left this off. It's my
Yeah,
guess.
but no, but like DAP report equals the port that's passed in, right? Or 3500.
Let's go back to the code. Oh, was it down here? No, it was up where we made the port. Dapper port is the environment variable or 3500. Where is this used? Did we look already?
We looked at port. I don't think we did the references.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's only used in one place. Go to references. It's used there.
Mm-hmm.
So this is us talking out to the Dapper State Store API, but not necessarily accepting requests in from Dapper coming into our app. So I think that is a difference. I don't know if it's the difference though.
So do you have Dapper running already
Mm-hmm. Let's
on
try to make
port?
a request to it. Let's just see what happens, I guess. Okay. Dapper run command looks for default components, which is in my home directory .dapper/components.
Oh, look, it says note that the parameter is optional and if not supplied, a random available port is used. So what does that definition in our code do then?
Oh, app. Are you talking about
Oh,
app?
it's not setting it. Oh, I see. So then instead, like we're passing in, when would it ever use 3500?
Oh, okay. This is saying we want to use 3500 for making requests. I think it's for saying making requests in from curl or postman. So if I go down, post messages to your service. So I think this is going to figure out what port to send
Mm-hmm.
to. but also this gets passed in as this environment variable if we don't specify what the Dapper port is. And Siva says something about this too. In this case, Dapper port is the random port. The state URL from the app may not be working because it's configured with 3500. Interesting.
But why wouldn't it be configured to what what it generated? So we need 30. So it's not optional then, it sounds like.
I don't know. I think we should try. I'm gonna go
I
on a limb and
secretly
say,
break things. That's like this is how I break things.
yeah,
By not following all the directions exactly.
right.
I'm so sorry, Aaron.
No, it's fine. Let's do this. Let's just do it. It looks like we can use the Dapper tool, curl, the REST plugin, and Postman. So let's start with just the Dapper tool.
I'm going to do a time check with you because it's
Oh, yes.
2:25.
Okay. Here we go. Broken. So
So how do we
stop there?
specify the port? We got to specify the port.
Okay.
Like
So I think we
I'm
should
so
follow
sorry.
No, it's fine. I think we should follow the command in the thing in the README.
How do we stop it?
I think that's this right here. So I don't know for sure, but it sounds like you're right that this is not, at least not optional, given the command that they tell us to run here. Because look,
Yeah.
also here they're saying 3,500. All right. So
Not optional.
not optional. All right, I'm doing this. We're gonna see it work. We're running it, and then one more. Yes. What does that even mean? Oh, we got a new order.
Hey, there's an order ID. Okay, do it again. Do it again.
Okay. Oh, we should change the order ID so we can see.
Yeah.
Okay. 42. Yes. 42.
Okay, how do we see inside?
I believe my guess is okay, we did that. Post messages to your service. Confirm successful persistence. Okay. Let's get it back then. All right. We got 42 back.
Okay, so that it does do latest.
Yeah.
There is a single order.
Yeah, one order. So if you're shopping on Amazon, this will save you money because you can only do one order at a time. No, no shopping sprees for you. All right. So should we stop the coding there?
Yes,
Okay.
and return to this like next week.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to skip over this how does it fit into an infrastructure, and I'll put that on the next week's agenda. But Jennifer had a great idea for a TIL/ICYMI. Jennifer, take it away. Tell everyone what it is.
So I wanted to get us to have sort of like a end check with folks, and if you want to share in chat anything that you learned today. So today I learned, or in case you missed it, any kind of news that you might want to share in the cloud native worlds. There was something that both Aaron and I actually tagged onto. I'll let him introduce it, but I had feels because I saw the write up too and was like, oh, this is so great.
Yeah. I'll open it up. So if you go into issue number 2, you'll be able to see there's that link. This is public. I really encourage you. This is what, a 3-minute read. So this is like a 3-minute read on like how Dapper fits, what it is, most like more or less what it is, and also videos. And I got a lot of value out of this. Like I've been doing Dapper things of some kind, shape, or form for like 2 months or so, and I got a lot of value out of this even still, because it really goes through and like tells you what to expect from Dapper, tells you how it fits into your workflow and your potentially production infrastructure, and then gives you a lot of pointers to like where to go from here. So I
I
was super into this.
I like if you scroll up just a little bit, I found this awesome because I felt like it was answering this question we had in last week's stream about like we were both like, what is the difference between a pub sub and bindings? Why does it matter? And this was so clear. Like I love
Yes.
this. Avi is a coworker of ours who wrote this, and it's really clear. Bindings, external systems, pub sub is communicating within the system, so inter-app messaging. So that was super fantastic.
Yeah. He's a really good communicator and especially writer, at least to me.
So it
Um,
looks like in our chat, Siva is going to be speaking about Dapper in the Orlando.net user group. Siva,
nice.
do you know Cecil?
That is super cool. So, Siva, is it okay if I do two things with these links? If I tweet them out, and also if I put them in like the YouTube description, at least your Twitter handle in the YouTube description of this specific recording. Just let me know in the chat. Oh yeah, perfect. Okay,
Awesome.
I will do that for sure. Awesome.
Cool. Anybody else have anything they want to share? Oh, my question was, do you know Cecil from the advocacy team? He's not in Orlando. He must. I'm not sure. He's in Florida. He's doing a talk on Dapper as well pretty
Yeah,
soon.
where is he? I thought he was in Orlando. Maybe not.
Oh, he's in Fort Lauderdale. uh,
So does anybody else have something they might want to share that they learned recently? I can share one if nobody else wants. I was going to share Slack had an outage recently. That is not the one.
that outage write up was amazing.
Yeah, right. So they had a similar one. Is it a Slack outage today? Um, Anyway, they wrote a great write up yesterday about an outage they had that was basically they spun up a ton of new web front ends. So, whatever servers they run to just handle incoming stateless requests. But they didn't make it into the load balancer because their configuration system didn't pick them up for whatever reason. So they scaled up and up and up, and then when the big crush of traffic came in, they went down because they didn't have any more capacity actually in the load balancer to take care of the new load. So their takeaway was to take their HA proxy load balancer tier and start migrating it over to Envoy, which is, if you're not familiar, Envoy is a service mesh system that's part of the Cloud Native Computing Foundation. So I thought it was really cool to see that they're using a CNCF project, Envoy, but they're not running Kubernetes and they're not using the whole Kubernetes universe. It just kind of shows me like CNCF is more than Kubernetes, and it's actually a lot more than Kubernetes because a company like Slack at Slack's scale is getting use out of this CNCF project. So anyway, that was a there. Jennifer put it up. Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah, that was, I love reading those kind of things. Like, that's my jam.
Yeah, right. I just thought like, yeah, I mean that write up was awesome, but when I saw Envoy, I was like, yes, another good case study for CNCF, but not necessarily Kubernetes technologies, because I think the CNCF would do really well to keep showing folks that you don't really need to necessarily use Kubernetes if you don't want to or it doesn't make sense for you. But we still have a huge bag of technologies that you can use and leverage. So that's all for me. Anyone else? Jennifer, I have blabbed enough. Do you have anything else?
Oh no, I think it's great. Like, to me, it's interesting seeing what was like super interesting to you about this particular Slack write up. For me, it's like sometimes architectures need to evolve. Like, depending on your scale and how things work. And so you have to be aware of those deep underlying systems and how they connect to each other and how they work. And so some of the things that I am super interested in understanding more about Dapper is how to separate some of these components that then get embedded deeply into the applications rather than having them being separated, and how that changes how you can scale or not. So yeah,
Sure.
like it's fascinating to hear like your perspective on what makes it interesting for you. So cool.
Yeah.
I think that about does it.
Sweet. So we will be back on next Wednesday. That would be what, July 8th? Yeah. July 8th, same time, same place. So 1:30 p.m. US Pacific time, twitch.tv/ARSCHLES. And also, Jennifer and I also do a live stream on Go things as well. So if you want to find more about that, that is in a repo too. So it's GitHub/OSSCDA, and click on the let's-go-stream repo. We follow pretty similar format as this. And if you're interested in Go, this is a great one to watch. Super
And that's
dynamic.
Mondays.
Next, yeah. So it'll be on Monday at, when is it? 10 a.m.?
11.
11. Yeah, 11.
Time
So
has no meaning.
yeah, agreed. So yeah, I mean, Go is a big part of Cloud Native too. So highly encourage you to come, participate. Chat is always open on that stream too. So yeah, with that, I think it's we should say goodbye, Jennifer.
Thank you so much, Siva and Accident, for joining us today. It's been awesome. And thank you, Aaron, for supporting us in our broadcast.
Yeah, and thank you, Jennifer. I always love doing these streams with you. It's awesome.
You are fantastic, Aaron.
Right back at you. All right. See you, everybody.
Cool, cool.
Cool, cool.
Bye.